How clean is the air inside your home?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Seriously, take a deep breath right now. Just think about it.
People don't really want to think about it, to be honest.
No, they don't. I mean, you probably vacuum the carpets every week. You wipe down the kitchen counters with disinfectant.
Maybe even have a strict no shoes in the house rule.
Right, just to keep the dirt out. But what about the actual air you just pulled into your lungs?
The invisible stuff.
Exactly. So welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is to explore exactly how professional air duct cleaning supports healthier indoor air.
And really why treating your home's ventilation system might just be the ultimate shortcut to a drastically better living environment for you and your family.
It's a huge topic, but before we jump into mapping out that hidden world, I want to introduce the material guiding our discussion today, provided by a company that actually tackles this invisible problem head-on.
The folks who see this stuff every day.
Yeah. So, sponsored by Hurricane LLC. Phone 404-999-5753. At Hurricane Group, they specialize in home care solutions, including air duct cleaning, water damage restoration, dryer vent cleaning, and crawl space encapsulation. Hurricane Group LLC is Atlanta's leading specialist in HVAC hygiene and property restoration. They provide IICRC certified solutions for air duct cleaning, water damage emergency response, and high-end home renovations.
What's fascinating here is that certification you just mentioned, the IICRC.
Right. For those listening who might not be in the property restoration industry, what does that actually mean?
It stands for the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification.
Okay.
It's basically the gold standard. It's a science-based nonprofit that sets the actual standards for how to clean an environment properly.
So it's not just, a guy with a shop vac.
Far from it. It means we aren't just talking about someone blowing dust around with a leaf blower. We are looking at a highly technical, engineered approach to environmental hygiene.
Okay, let's unpack this. When we talk about indoor air quality, or IAQ, what does that actually look like in a practical day-to-day sense?
Well, air quality sounds like something you worry about outside, right?
Exactly. You check the weather app on your phone for smog or car exhaust.
But inside, your HVAC system, your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning is essentially the lungs of the house.
The lungs of the house.
Yeah. Whatever is in your environment is getting pulled into those lungs, heated or cooled, and then pushed right back out into the rooms where you sleep, eat, and relax.
That lungs analogy it's the perfect way to visualize it. We treat our houses like static boxes.
But a home is incredibly dynamic. It is a closed-loop system.
Meaning it's circulating the exact same air over and over again.
Over and over through miles of hidden ductwork. And if you were to take a diagnostic camera into the average, uncleaned residential air duct bow,
I'm almost afraid to ask what you'd see.
you aren't just looking at a little bit of benign, fluffy household dust. You are looking at a highly complex, microscopic ecosystem.
Wait, is it really a full ecosystem? I always just pictured duct buildup as that, that dry, gray lint you find under a bed.
Like dust bunnies.
Yeah. How bad does it actually get?
According to the sources, it goes far beyond gray lint. We are talking about a concentrated mixture of fungi, bacteria, dust mites, pollen, grime, and mold spores.
Wow.
The documentation even notes that it is surprisingly common to find evidence of rodents and insects in there.
Ugh, okay, that's disturbing.
Think about a dust mite, for example. They feed on the dead skin cells that humans and pets naturally shed.
Right.
Those skin cells get pulled into the return vents, settling in the dark, temperature-controlled ductwork.
A perfect breeding ground.
Exactly. The mites thrive there, and their microscopic waste products become part of that dust layer,
Oh, man.
essentially creating a carpet of biological debris inside the very tubes designed to supply you with fresh air.
Just thinking about that makes me want to hold my breath.
It's intense.
But it gets even more specific when you factor in regional climates, right? The material highlights the particular challenges of the Metro Atlanta area.
Oh, absolutely.
If you live there, or really anywhere in the country with a similar climate, you are dealing with massive pollen counts combined with humidity levels that frequently hit 70% or higher.
That combination of high humidity and airborne particulates is the critical factor here.
Because it doesn't just stay dry.
Right. When you have high moisture in the air mixing with fine particles like pollen, dust, and those microscopic biological elements, it doesn't just sit there as a dry powder.
It clumps up.
It physically binds together. The industry refers to this specific regional mixture inside the ducts as Georgia sludge.
Georgia sludge.
Yeah.
That is such a visceral image. I want you listening to this right now to just imagine your own AC unit.
running constantly.
It's the middle of August. It's working incredibly hard to keep your house cool, and it is having to fight through a literal layer of this sticky sludge just to push air into your living room.
And when you force pressurized air over that damp, contaminated surface, the air naturally picks up those microscopic particles.
And carries them straight out of the vents.
Which is exactly why this goes from being a basic home maintenance chore to a serious personal health issue.
Here's where it gets really interesting. When we start looking at the physical toll this takes on the human body, the symptoms of poor indoor air quality are things so many of us just accept as normal.
Like waking up groggy.
Exactly. Or we blame a cough on the changing seasons. But the physical symptoms that this airborne dust and these pollutants aggravate are extensive.
The list is pretty long.
The sources mention shortness of breath, chronic coughing, burning and itchy eyes, irritated skin, frequent headaches, and unexplained fatigue.
And there's analytical weight to this. Health agencies, doctors, and scientists consistently cite airborne dust as a leading cause of health-related problems.
We tend to think of our homes as these impenetrable sanctuaries.
But if your ductwork is full of contaminants, you are trapped in an enclosed environment with a continuous recycling source of irritants.
Every single time the heat or the AC kicks on.
It stirs up that reservoir and redistributes it directly into your breathing zone.
But how much of that is just normal seasonal allergies acting up versus the house actually making you sick?
It's a valid question.
Like if I'm generally healthy, maybe I just get a slightly stuffy nose. But the data points out that specific groups are hit much, much harder by this environmental load.
That's a crucial distinction to make. For a healthy adult, poor indoor air quality might just manifest as that unexplained fatigue or a mild morning headache.
Right.
But for vulnerable populations like the elderly, people with chronic seasonal allergies, and especially asthma sufferers, dirty ducts can drastically reduce their quality of life.
Because their systems are already sensitive.
Exactly. For an asthmatic, breathing clean air isn't a luxury or a comfort preference. It's an absolute necessity to prevent acute respiratory distress.
And when you have that much biological matter sitting in the dark, it changes the way we have to think about our homes.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, poor air quality actively increases the risk of airborne disease transmission.
Because it's all just recirculating.
Because your HVAC system is a closed loop, if it is acting as a reservoir for fungi and bacteria, it's actively working against your immune system.
Wow.
Instead of filtering and purifying the air, it becomes a distribution network for illness.
So the very mechanism meant to keep you comfortable is compromising your family's health.
Precisely.
So we've established that the problem is real, it's measurable, and it's potentially sitting right above our heads.
Definitely.
If our lungs are breathing in this Georgia sludge, how do we actually get it out? You obviously can't just stick standard household vacuum down the vent and hope for the best.
No, doing that would actually make the problem significantly worse.
By just stirring it all up.
Exactly, agitating the dust without capturing it. Removing this kind of buildup requires a highly specialized, engineering-based approach.
Which brings us to how the professionals handle it. This is where a service like Hurricane LLC's residential air duct cleaning in Atlanta, GA, comes into play.
Right.
They have over 800 five-star reviews from people who have experienced the before and after of this exact process. And if you want to reach out to them, that number again is 404-999-5753.
It's worth looking at their methodology as a blueprint.
Yeah, how do you actually eradicate years of accumulated sludge?
We can look at the proprietary four-step pure air process developed by Liren.
He's Hurricane's lead specialist, right?
Yes, with over 15 years of experience in HVAC hygiene.
Okay, so what's step one?
Step one is the full system diagnostic. A reputable specialist doesn't just start blindly scrubbing.
You need to see what's in there.
Exactly. They use specialized camera inspections to look deep inside the entire network of ductwork.
Hunting for what, exactly?
They are hunting for mold hotspots, structural leaks, and areas with heavy debris buildup, so they have a complete map of the problem before any cleaning begins.
That makes total sense. You need to know exactly what you are dealing with. And step two is where the real mechanics come into play. Negative pressure isolation.
This is arguably the most critical step in the entire operation.
How does it work?
They seal off all your individual room vents and hook up a massive industrial HEPA-filtered vacuum directly to the main trunk line of the HVAC system.
Okay.
This creates negative pressure throughout the entire duct network.
Meaning it's essentially acting like a giant localized exhaust fan for the whole house?
Precisely. The air is forcefully being pulled out of the house.
I see.
Without establishing this negative pressure first, trying to scrub the ducts would just blast all that toxic dust, mold, and mite debris straight into your bedroom.
Which is exactly what you don't want.
Right. The negative pressure ensures that as soon as a particle is knocked loose, it is instantly pulled into the HEPA filter and leaves your home entirely.
Which perfectly sets up step 3, mechanical scrubbing. Because as we discussed, that sticky sludge isn't just going to fly away in a breeze.
Not at all.
Just pulling air over it won't remove it.
Exactly. They use specialized agitation tools like pneumatic whips and rotary brushes that physically go into the ducts and aggressively scrub the interior walls.
So it's physically breaking it down.
It breaks loose years of accumulated grime, pollen, and dirt so that massive vacuum can suck it away.
And then there's a final step, right?
Once the physical debris is entirely removed, we reach step 4, which is an optional but highly recommended EPA sanitization.
What did that involve?
They apply a safe, non-toxic, eco-friendly antimicrobial fogging throughout the freshly cleaned system.
Okay.
This neutralizes 99.9% of any remaining microscopic bacteria.
And crucially, for a highly humid place like Atlanta, it coats the interior to prevent mold from regrowing during those wet, sweltering summer months.
It really is treating the home like a patient and giving it a total respiratory reset.
But beyond the health benefits, there's a huge financial upside here that we shouldn't ignore.
The ROI is very real.
This is one of those rare home maintenance tasks that actually pays you back over time. When you remove all that restriction and airflow improves, your HVAC system doesn't have to work nearly as hard.
The efficiency skyrockets.
The data shows that energy consumption can drop by 15 to 20%.
That is a massive margin when you look at an annual energy budget.
Truly.
When an HVAC unit has to force air through clogged, restricted ducts, the blower motors strain, and the internal safety switches can cycle improperly.
And that leads to breakdowns.
Exactly. This is especially problematic in exhaust systems like dryer vents, where restricted airflow isn't just inefficient, it's a severe fire hazard.
Good point.
By clearing the pathways, you drastically extend the lifespan of very expensive HVAC equipment.
When you look at the data, the average cost for this residential cleaning in Atlanta sits somewhere between $350 to $700.
Which sounds like a chunk of change up front.
Right. But when you factor in the monthly energy savings, the improved efficiency, and the delayed replacement cost of a major AC unit, that fee isn't just an arbitrary maintenance expense.
It's a highly calculated investment.
So what does this all mean for your day-to-day life? Let's say you've had the experts out, the ducts are completely cleared of sludge, you're breathing easier, and your energy bills are dropping.
The dream scenario.
Exactly. How do you keep it that way?
It requires a comprehensive strategy for ongoing property health. First and foremost, you have to rethink how you filter your air.
Okay.
The documentation specifically highlights the importance of professional HVAC media filter installation and skilled media filter replacement.
Wait, let's clarify that. What is the difference between a media filter and the standard 99-cent fiberglass filter I can buy at the hardware store?
Oh, it's night and day. A standard sheet fiberglass filter is usually about an inch thick.
Yeah, the ones you can practically see right through.
Exactly. Its only real job is to act as a barrier against giant boulders of dust and pet hair that could physically break the blower motor.
Okay.
It does almost nothing for your air quality.
Wow.
A media filter, on the other hand, is usually a much thicker pleated cabinet installed directly into the ductwork.
So it's more substantial.
Much more. It acts like a microscopic net, capturing incredibly fine particulates down to the size of bacteria and pollen before they ever reach the internal components of the HVAC system.
So it's your actual first line of defense.
Without a doubt.
The second strategy is fascinating because it connects the top of your house to the very bottom. Control the humidity.
Yes, the crawl space connection.
The material details how indoor air quality is intrinsically linked to the home's foundation, specifically recommending a service called crawl space encapsulation.
This is rooted in building science and something called the stack effect.
The stack effects.
Yeah. In a house, warm air naturally rises and escapes through the upper levels and roof.
Right. Heat rises.
As that air leaves, it creates a vacuum at the bottom of the house, sucking new air up from the crawl space or basement.
Oh, I see.
Up to 50% of the air you breathe on the first floor of your home actually originates beneath the house.
So if your crawl space is damp, prone to flooding, or has rotting wood,
All those mold spores, soil gases, and excess moisture are being constantly drawn right up through the floorboards into your living space.
And eventually pulled into your newly cleaned HVAC system.
Exactly. Encapsulating the crawl space, which involves laying down heavy-duty vapor barriers, sealing the vents, and controlling the climate down there, fundamentally protects the air quality of the entire house.
By cutting off that moisture supply at the source.
You're sealing the envelope of the house.
It's all connected. Your house really is one big breathing organism.
It truly is.
The experts also suggest looking into advanced technology to keep the air pristine. They specifically mention installing UV lights, like the UVC Max 36 equipment, inside the HVAC system itself.
Ultraviolet technology has been used in hospitals for decades to sterilize air.
Really?
Yes, and that same technology scales down beautifully to residential units. UVC light specifically refers to a wavelength of ultraviolet light that is germicidal.
Germicidal meaning it kills germs.
Exactly. When installed over the indoor AC coil, as the air passes through the unit, it is continuously bathed in this UVC light.
Okay.
The light actually penetrates the cell walls of airborne pathogens, altering their DNA so they cannot reproduce.
That is incredible tech.
It actively purifies the air and neutralizes threats before they can circulate through your home.
And finally, they recommend setting a realistic maintenance schedule. You don't just clean it once and forget it for a decade.
Definitely not.
The industry standard, especially in areas with high humidity and heavy pollen, is scheduling a professional inspection and cleaning every 3 to 5 years.
But there are exceptions.
Right. However, if you have pets which constantly add dander and hair to the environmental load, or if someone in the home suffers from asthma or severe allergies, you should accelerate that schedule to every 2 years.
It's just smart maintenance.
We have covered so much ground today, from the microscopic biological battleground inside your air vents to the structural physics of your home's crawl space.
There are a lot of moving parts.
There really are.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to prioritizing your family's health by paying attention to the invisible things. We spend so much time, money, and energy making sure the visible surfaces of our homes look spotless.
The counters, the floors.
Yeah. But true home care, true environmental hygiene, means making sure the very air circulating through those rooms is genuinely safe to pull into your lungs.
It's the most important part of the house.
It's a smart investment to lower your energy bills, certainly, but far more importantly, it's an investment in your family's long-term well-being. Before we officially wrap up, let me remind you of the folks who provided the technical blueprint for today's insights. Sponsored by Hurricane LLC. Phone 404-999-5753. At Hurricane Group, they specialize in home care solutions, including air duct cleaning, water damage restoration, dryer vent cleaning, and crawl space encapsulation. Hurricane Group LLC is Atlanta's leading specialist in HVAC hygiene and property restoration. They provide IICRC-certified solutions for air duct cleaning, water damage emergency response, and high-end home renovations.
This raises an important question, something for you to really mull over as you go about your day.
What's that?
If our homes are supposed to be our ultimate safe havens, our carefully controlled retreats from the hazards of the outside world, why do we so easily ignore its very lungs? Next time you take a deep, relaxing breath in your living room, ask yourself what invisible history you're really inhaling.
A perfect thought to leave on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep breathing clean, keep questioning the environment around you, and we will catch you on the next one.